Hey there, Popcorn Talk fans. Welcome to another episode of iTalk Movies. Today, we are talking to the cast and crew of Summer of 8. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's iTalk Movies.
You have to really love the epicness of that score
I
for
felt
that
like
intro.
I entered Jurassic Park.
Kind of awesome. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
for the first time, we're back in 1993. The park
Welcome.
just opened.
To Popcorn Talk.
That was nice.
Welcome to the Popcorn Talk.
Nice.
So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, those of you on the live stream. I'm host Megan Salinas, and today we are talking about the Summer of 8 movie. It's a fantastic indie film. You guys can catch it soon on video on demand. Let me introduce our fantastic guests. To my left, we have Matt Shively,
Hello, yes. Hi.
star of the movie.
Thanks.
He plays Oscar. And we also have director Ryan Schwartz. How are you?
I am great. It's awesome to be here.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us here today. I feel like it's very appropriate that you guys are here right now because Summer of 8 is about the last day of summer.
Yeah, is this the
And
last day of summer?
I don't think so because I feel like that
Labor Day
happens.
is like the
Oh, yeah,
last
it's
weekend,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
but yeah, everyone's going back to school.
Yeah.
It's officially September now. Pumpkin spice lattes will soon be out and about.
You're so excited about this.
I am really.
I wanna look at things the way that you look at pumpkin spice lattes.
I'm just excited that it's fall because Halloween's
Yeah.
my favorite time of year.
But we're in California, like how it doesn't get that fall. It hasn't gotten fall-y until like October 20th every year.
Yeah,
for
that's
3
true.
years.
For most of October, it's still just as hot as it was in like early September,
But
August.
let's hope for different this year.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
This, by the way, is how the whole movie was made. I just showed up and then did nothing for 10 days, and then the movie was
You just
done.
elbowed the cinematographer and was just like, just
roll,
start,
Yeah,
just start
just
rolling.
roll.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about this for people who haven't heard the story yet. This is very much a passion project for you, Ryan. Do you want to tell the audience a little bit about sort of the road to making this movie happen?
Sure. So you probably can't tell on camera, but I'm not 25 years old, right? So I graduated film school quite a long time ago, and like every film school grad, thought I'd be making a film right after the next year. And it's not easy to get a film made, you know. And what you tend to do is you fool yourself into thinking you're going to get these larger movies made. And I was attached to quite a few of them, and they fell apart, and this went on for some time. So finally, when the film fell apart, the last one, I just kind of called my wife 2 months before summer of 2014, and I said, I'm going to make a movie no matter what. I'm going to write it. I'll shoot it on 2 iPhones if I have to, and I wrote this little thing. What are you texting over there?
Oh, I'm tweeting out the live link.
Oh, I love it.
I can multitask.
That's good.
I love it.
At a boring interview. Lame.
So yeah, I just wrote the script, determined to make it no matter what. And then I wrote the script pretty fast, sent it to these great casting directors who I love, Lauren and Jordan Bass, and they saw something in it, and they said we'd like to cast it, and then things happened pretty quick.
Well, that's fantastic. Matt, how did you get involved in this project?
Yeah,
Well,
man.
I had heard about it, and I wanted to go the Eddie Murphy route and play every character. But he wasn't
He wasn't a big fan of that idea?
super into it. He just did. I think we didn't have the like $80 million budget to be able to pull that off.
That would have been a very the girls
That
too.
would have been.
You wanna
Oh
play-
my God! Are you kidding me? I already had memorized all of them.
Okay.
No, I had an audition. I went on it, and it was kind of the way I looked at it. It was so much fun because it was kind of very Vince Vaughn-y and fast talking, and I love that. And so I went in and I did it, and I mean, I didn't think anything of it. It was just another one.
It was just another audition.
I've gotten to the point. I've been doing this, since I was 13 years old, and you get told no so many times that you have to start learning how to like let go the second you walk out. Otherwise, you'll just let it completely ruin your life. So I did it, walked out, let it go, and then found out that they wanted to meet with me and stuff, and I went and met with him, and the
Well,
rest
actually,
is history.
it's a little crazier than that because
I didn't. Okay, he's about to tell us something I didn't know.
because obviously you use a casting director and they send you now with technology, you just kind of get it on your iPad. You see all these tapes, and I saw
that's
him,
right,
and I
it
was
was.
when Matt Shively reads for you, especially this role, you're just like, I got to get that guy. So he couldn't come in to the one scheduled callback that we had.
That's right.
And I think you thought that meant was not
Oh
going to
yeah.
happen.
Oh, I was so mad. Well, here's the thing. I was doing not a favor. I wouldn't say a favor, but they had given me like one line on this Hulu show, and I had to do multiple episodes. So like half of the episodes I was just background, and there's nothing against it, but like I enjoy working, and that to me is not really working. So I was working one day and had no lines, nothing, and they're like, you know, they want to meet with you, and I was like, I can't, like, couldn't get out, and it sucked. I was like, okay, I'm gonna lose out on this part because of this like one line thing that they're like they don't give two craps about me. It was
It's
a bummer.
pretty unusual cast a lead without meeting them, and the casting directors were like, it's risky. I mean, we love Matt, but it's risky, and I was like, you know what, it just feels so right. So they actually called him. I called him, I think, and I was like, so I haven't met you before, but would you like to be in my movie? You're like, what? You're still thinking about me?
I think it was a Halloween episode of this Hulu show, and I was sitting there dressed up like a cow, and I was like, this is awesome. It was a very good feeling.
Well, I'm glad that it worked out because your character, he's such a unique aspect of this film. This group of kids, you know, they're all so different from one another, and his voice is probably the most distinct.
It's definitely the loudest. Yeah.
What do you mean by distinct?
You know, when I think of Oscar, I kind of think, I'm like, oh, very American Pie, very kind of the edgier John Hughes sort of movies. But like this movie, it's not an American Pie. Yeah. There's a lot of kind of similarities in terms of the situations that the kids are going through, right. But it feels a lot more organic than that and a lot more authentic.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing I loved about the script so much was that every character kind of is going through something that almost every person goes through, especially at this time in their lives. And so you're getting to, you can relate to any of them. And there's a lot of Oscars out there. so it was, I think that was easy for me to be able, because like, you know, I technically have been the Oscars sometimes. I you know, saying it, you want it and not getting it. But I think, you know, it just speaks to a huge crowd of people. And there's, you know, because there's 8 of us and all of us have just completely different personalities and everything like that. I think that that's what made it so great with people.
Yeah. Obviously, anyone will say like directing is 90% casting or 95%, whatever number you choose, casting is everything. Because on the page, Oscar could be pretty crude. You've seen the movie, so that you know. And
so my grandmother showed up. I hadn't seen her in 4 years. She showed up and surprised me at the screening in Newport, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she brought my little cousin and everything. And I was like, no. I was like, you guys, you can't. And she was like, you should have seen what I was when I was younger. And I was like, no, but you guys are all like super Christian now. This is not gonna go down well.
But what's been interesting is that it feels like the movie's made for high school and college. But just like him, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles that are older, they really love it. And not only do they love the movie, but they love him. And I'm like, really? He's saying some crazy things.
I've said some of the worst sayings in my entire life on that set in that movie. Like some things that I would never have said in life, but like you let me go, and it was just, oh my God.
Now, were you given the opportunity to improv some of those lines?
A little bit, yeah. There was a couple times, but like I will say this: there's a monologue about like judging like how good looking the whole good looking and how much like a guy wants exactly what a girl wants and all this kind of stuff. If you're a 6 or 7, and he wrote that, and like I didn't actually fully understand, and I think you know this. I didn't fully understand what I was saying, which is like not what an actor should say. But I didn't fully understand what I was saying until he had to like be like, "This is what you're saying. This is what you're doing." And I was like, "Oh my God, you're smart! Like you really went out of your way to like make this crazy long speech also involve math and like." And half of me was like, "I don't know if Oscar would know this, but he really is just talking from his ass, anyways." So it was a real But I had a couple lines that I got to throw out there that was kind of fun.
But yeah, no, it would be, and just the fact that he uses humor as sort of a way to cope with all these different things that he and his friends are going through, it's very relatable and it's endearing. He's saying horribly crass things, but because there's that air of humor and camaraderie, it's okay. It's not upsetting.
I think he does start the day as it just being like, this is the ultimate opportunity to finally close on all these things that we want.
These women that think that you're disgusting.
Yeah, that have always said no.
We have
and
a
now
window
it's like,
of opportunity.
This is it. And I think as the day progresses and the more he drinks soda, I think he starts to like kind of, the moment starts to catch up with him, and he starts to realize that like, okay, wow, this is really it, and you know, we really have to soak this up for what it is, because this could be the last time we're all together, kind of thing.
Yeah. Again, very, very relatable circumstance. So, what was it about this particular time in a person's life, Ryan, that you kind of wanted to explore? You said you wanted to make the movie you wanted to make, and you'd make it for $5 if you had to.
Yeah.
Why was this particular story the one you wanted to run with?
Yeah, awesome question. You spend so much time trying to get your first film made, and the truth is you only get to make one first film, right? I hope to get to make more films, but my first film is going to be this film. And I've just always loved high school films. I love John Hughes. I love Dazed and Confused. And I think these films work so well because A, they're relatable, but also the themes are so universal. We want to kind of revel in every moment of that day, but we also kind of intuitively know, like, it's never going to be the same, And with all of our friends. And I went to Santa Monica High School, and I'm really close with all my high school friends. But you get older, and you get more responsibility, and you get a job, and then maybe you get married. And so, like, that kind of, like, not just, like, lack of responsibility, but just carefreeness I just love being in that world. One thing that's really interesting, and one person asked this in the Q&A, I graduated high school in 1992. That's a cue to my age. And there was...
I was 2 years old.
There's two. And I actually initially wrote it as a period piece. And the main reason is, and these guys are not this way, but I also teach filmmaking, and I like to think I'm a decent teacher. And even when I'm teaching, my students are just texting. Like, we're so connected now to cell phones and everything. And so I didn't want to make a film about 8 friends sitting on the beach texting, But I thought if I said it today, it may not feel realistic that there's no cell phones. But we just made a creative choice of, like, there's just not going to be any cell phones in this movie. I even wrote a scene where Jesse, the main friend, kind of does this thing, and he holds out a basket and goes, okay, everybody throw your phones in. And then I thought, screw that. Like, I'm not going to...
Not even acknowledge
just
it.
not going to acknowledge it. And people don't notice, but then when we talk about it, they're like, you're right. It's kind of was refreshing to not...
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it.
Can you imagine going a whole day without texting?
No, absolutely not.
All right.
No.
But and it's something about this camaraderie of this group that, like, you don't miss it. Everybody's so engaged with each other in the conversations. Well, at least I like to think that they are. That, like, it would be weird if someone was like, hold that thought. Let me text real fast.
Oh, that would be everything. There'd only be one person listening to one person while the rest of them texted. There would be no conversation. Right. That's crazy.
So the sense of nostalgia that I hope people have, if you're a little bit older like me, is a time where you used to just sit around and talk to people, And obviously friends still do that. But it's the rare good moments of undistracted hanging out,
Or if you are hanging out, you're periscoping or Snapchatting about... the fun time that you're having. It's
exactly.
different now.
I have no idea what periscoping is, but yes.
I've never used it or Snapchat.
Oh God, I'm actually mad I just laughed at you like that. I'm like, I'm that guy. You don't know what periscoping is, loser. Oh no.
But it does create this sort of timeless nature to it because all the movies that you mentioned, they are products of their time and they act as sort of a timestamp, but those themes are still universal. And here, there's not really a whole lot to mark the era that this film takes place in. The lack of cell phones. Yeah, if someone had a flip phone, you could immediately identify that as the early 2000s.
Right.
Or if somebody had an iPhone, it's like, oh, okay, 2010s. Ish.
That's so wild. That just blew my mind. I didn't even know. I liked it so much in what we were doing that it never even
people don't
register that it was like it was completely timeless. There was nothing in it that gave away where we were when we were doing it.
Right.
Yeah, and even if it took place like right now, people would be taking pictures throughout the day at the very least. So yeah, it was a very interesting choice to just kind of remove that entirely.
Part of I also thought, like, if I do a period piece in 1992, how different could it be, right? Like, it's just bathing suits, it's just jeans, and then I went and looked at our pictures.
Oh, no.
Oh man, it is like it's a period piece. We even need like the hair is different. I mean, it's crazy
even
how
down
different.
to like the lawn chairs that we use.
It would have been a real. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. We're gonna set it
the
today.
The sunglasses would be different.
So different.
Everything about it.
Most of the guys are shirtless though the whole time, so I guess you wouldn't have had to go too far on shirts.
The bathing suits would have been different.
Just me.
But for a film like this, when you think summer teen movie, you kind of think hijinks and shenanigans. And this is definitely a fun-loving group, but this is not that type of movie. What kind of prompted the decision to make it more about these little moments and, just kind of sitting in and soaking in the day as opposed to getting into hijinks?
Yeah, you asked very good questions, by the way.
It was a good movie. It makes it easy.
Thank you. That old thing that you have to write what you know, you can kind of like take that a step further, and you just have to kind of the things that I enjoy. I'm not that guy. I'm not the cool, like, super crazy. American Pie was hilarious. I laughed my ass off, but that's not my sensibility. You know, my sensibility is a bit more nuanced, subtle, dare I say, sentimental. You know, so what I like, these guys laugh because I cried probably.
I'm surprised he hasn't cried yet. I love it. I've never felt more love from somebody ever that I've worked with. It's crazy.
So that's just so, and by the way, my friends were that way too. I know it used to be not cool or macho to tell your buddy that you love him, you know, but I had a really cool group of high school friends that, it's very silly and people are going to laugh at me. My mom, who's a therapist, she calls it like the new masculine. Like, you don't have to be like, what's up, dude? Don't look at me that way. I'm going to kick your ass, you know. We were pretty, it's a touchy-feely word, but pretty intimate, you know. So if my buddy was down, I'd be like, what's going on, man? How you doing? And so
I think a lot of people are like that. I think they just cover it up. They act like
right.
they're not. Behind closed doors, they are.
Yeah, so those are the moments that I like to see, and even the scenes that I thought were going to be way funnier, just with a bit of my sensibility and the actors responding to that, they became a little bit more dramatic. You know, like, we're listed on iTunes as a comedy and a drama, and trust me, I hope you guys think the film is funny, but it's not like a slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what's needed right now. You have so many movies that's all it's about. It's like, it's all slapstick, like, gross out, as bad as you can get, with like one scene towards the end where
it's like
all of the protagonists come together and are like, I don't like you anymore. Well, why don't you like me? Because you're not moving with me to college. And it's like, it's crazy. Like, it's all whackness. And I think that's what's so good about this, is that it's like, this is what people actually do feel. Like, this is reality in comparison to the complete fantasy of, like, how many women you're sleeping with in one day and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And as I said, there's just this authenticity to it. And so when working on this project, did you guys ever think about, like, well, if I could go back to that point in my life, to that moment where, you know, I was a teenager getting ready to go off and live my life, what advice would I give to that high school version of myself?
Maddie, you first.
I think the most of the advice I'd give myself is kind of what Oscar says, is that, like, you're always so worried about what's going to come afterwards. And I mean, if I'm speaking from my own personal experiences, I had the best friends in high school, like people that I called brothers and, you know, loved so deeply, and was like, this is us forever. And after a couple years not being in high school, that kind of breaks apart. So it's like, I wish that I had lived more in just knowing, like, how special this is right now, rather than trying to plan what the future holds and then realizing that that's not really how it goes. I think that's what I would have done.
Yeah. We got a really interesting review after our festival run, and it was a woman, you know, in her 50s, and she had said, I love the friendship that these guys had, but it made me mad because I wish I had that friendship, which I thought was really sweet. You know, I mean, obviously it's not everybody's high school is that way, and ironically, a lot of people's experience of high school is really rough, you know, and that just wasn't my experience. I actually, maybe it's the rarity, but I just really loved high school.
Yeah, well, and even that sort of sentiment is still reflected in the film. We have someone who just can't wait to get out of the town, right. And, you know, it's like, hey, I'm gonna miss this, but I need to go, like, yesterday. That would be super.
I love her, by the way. That's Natalie. And she's going to be, her and another actor, Nick, are at our New York premiere tomorrow. So that's very cool.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the look of this film. Because...
Should we FaceTime Martine, my DP?
Yeah.
Speaking of technology,
Let me tell you.
Martine, we're in a live interview.
We'll just Periscope him in. It'll be great.
Oh, that's what Periscope is. Okay.
You can. It's a little short live stream. I think.
Gotcha.
But one of the things about this film, just watching it, a lot of the camera movements were very subtle, and sometimes that sense of verisimilitude works, and sometimes it can just come off as shaky cam. And I thought what you guys did in this film was really great, and the scenery was just gorgeous.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's like, I watched the trailer and I'm just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe. One of my biggest dreams was to always do, like, a really good indie film that like just was, you know, spoke to everything. And that was like watching that as like this, I did it. Like, I'm so happy that I'm in this movie and I'm part of like with this cast and with Ryan, like with everybody.
He's trying to make it crack. That's
It was like such a good moment for me to like, I'm not gonna say I haven't been proud of, like, not been proud of a lot of the stuff I've done, but like I do a lot of like dumb stuff. So to finally see something like really good, it was just, it's so beautiful.
It is. Tell us a little bit about what it was like on set, because filming on a beach can present its own set of challenges as well.
Yes, for sure. So first of all, I mean, we joked about my DP Martin, but he is just a genius. And not only as an artist, but the thing about being a cinematographer that a lot of people don't know is you're also running the majority of the set. So you have to be competent in your art and framing. And we had 2 cameras the whole time. We made the movie very quickly in 10 days, which is bananas. And the only way you could do that is to shoot with 2 cameras, probably. So not only does he have to like slow things down and make sure the shots are beautiful, but he's also running the entire crew, right? And he just did that beautifully. Everything was very fluid. One of the most exciting things about shooting a film so fast is you just don't have time to be precious about overthinking things. There was, I am proud of our instincts, but it was all instinct. You know, of course we had a plan. You know, not only went to film school, but I teach film. My students would kill me if I didn't have a plan. Right?
It's not like you went in without a shot list.
And
or
we did not go out
We're
without
just going to see what happens.
Right, exactly. No, we did not. But we also, you know, the script was written that a lot of the conversation happens around their towels and their chairs. And the kind of thing about shooting at one location is it could get a little monotonous. If like the whole first, it's not quite an hour, but the first half of the movie was them sitting at their chairs. I love all their dialogue, but maybe we'd think, you know, we could use some variety. And that beach that we found was like a cinematographer's dream. You point this way, it's gorgeous. You point this way, it's gorgeous. So we quickly, and that was on the day, and it really threw off my script supervisor. She was like, "You're killing me, what are you doing?" But scenes that were meant to be here, I was like, me and Martine would be like, "Screw that, let's go shoot it over here, and let's go shoot it over there." And then if you change locations like that, then a little bit of your shot list plan is a bit out the window. Mm-hmm. So I would bring the guys over here. We'd say, "Hey, Jesse, you're just coming out of the water. You're talking about," I hope we could say this, but blowjobs or whatever. And that's not that bad. That's
totally fine.
Right. And so a scene that was written and sometimes rehearsed over here, we just came and shot over here, and it brought a spontaneity to it that was really exciting.
Which is also great for an actor who doesn't have to sit around for 30 minutes waiting for lighting to get set up.
No, there was not a lot of sitting around.
Let's shoot it. Oh, yeah, right now? We just finished it right now. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's do it.
So, yeah, was there a lot of natural light used given the setting of the film?
There was, but also it's very crafted. Like, it's not like, you know, if you were to have a behind the scenes shot, which if I gave you the pictures you asked for, you would like put it up right now. But like, there's giant 20 by silks and there's giant bounces. So that's part of the reason it looks so beautiful is Martine is great at using our biggest light source, which is the sun, of course, and being smart about that. But then also, it's not like there's no equipment. There's quite a bit that he's making it beautiful, you know.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the day-to-day on set. What was the biggest challenge you guys had to overcome while working on the film, both from an acting standpoint and from a directing standpoint?
From an acting standpoint, I literally think the worst thing that happened was that I got really sunburnt feet the first day. Like, other than that, like, we, as the cast, like, we did something really cool that I've never done before, and I don't know if it really happens all that much, but we shot the first half in 1 week at the beach and then the second half separately. And because we all wanted to get to know each other and, you know, we're supposed to be these lifelong friends, we decided to rent a house in Newport. And I think only 2 of us weren't able to do it, but everybody just kind of dorm style lived in this house the week that we were filming at the beach, which like
that was everything.
Was so cool. One of my favorite shows is Real World, and every night I would get home and like they'd be making chicken and we'd be, you know, drinking a little bit. It was like I'm looking around, I'm like, I'm finally living the real world. I've always said if I can relive my life one way and not be an actor, I would just be on the Real World. I love it, and it was my week of being on the Real World, and so there was nothing difficult about it. And because he was so open to kind of just letting us feel what we felt and do what we wanted to kind of do while also sticking to the script, it was like, that's why it was one of the greatest experiences of my life, because it was like, this is why I started acting. I do this because I like to entertain, but also like I'm forming these bonds and these friendships while also just doing what I love. And I can't complain about that.
The beach house was the secret pixie dust sauce. I had asked, hey, would you guys consider? And of course, they're like, of course we will. And not, first of all, Newport is about an hour and away, but you know LA traffic, so that's really more like 2 hours. So
Nobody wants to do that.
If we were
Oh,
adding
Lord.
2 hours to their day every day, that would have been logistically impossible. So they got to, shoot very hard and fun, but then just 5-minute drive. And then, like you said, they were, God knows what they're doing at the house. But
I will be honest with you, I was surprised at the lack of drinking that was going on. Like, we got pretty tipsy one night. The rest of the nights, the first night we were there, we all sat out in the backyard in a circle and went over our scenes with
that's
each other.
just the coolest part. So they would come, and they invited me, of course, and I had my own beach house. We're sounding like these are champagne problems, I guess. But my investor, who I love, who's going to be there tomorrow, who this would not have happened without him. His name's Scott Dixon, and we've actually started a company together. But not only did we kind of help them get a beach house, but he also had a house for me, because I also didn't want to do the 2-hour drive.
We weren't invited to that one.
But these guys did invite me. They were so sweet. You got to come to the house. You got to see it. And just kind of like as the parent of the group, I just felt like, no, that's your thing. But every day they would come to set in the morning. They were so proud, if we can put words in their mouth, to show me how prepared they were for the next day's material. Like literally, they got to set like, Ryan, wait till you see this. And like and we were doing 10-page scenes at a time. And because they were so prepared, another way I was able to throw out my plan is instead of like get this shot, I was like, this is working so well, uncut. Granted, what you see is cut, but they did those 10-minute scenes.
There was that 12-page scene.
They just did it.
And we actually and it was I
had so
remember
much
the
fun.
first
Yeah.
time we did it all the way through, and it like worked right off the
It
bat.
worked.
And
It was
I looked
amazing.
around and I literally uttered the words. I was like, I fucking love all of you guys. I was like, you guys are all insane actors. I was like, I can't believe I have never in my life done a 12-page scene with 8 people and actually gotten through it without anybody being like, wait, what's my line? Like, it blew my mind, and that's when you know you have something really
You
special.
came up to me after that and you said, this is the most fun I've ever had acting. It was pretty awesome.
Now, was that your guys' favorite behind-the-scenes moment?
But geez,
I'm sure it's hard to pick, especially since this is such a special project.
For me, that was one. For Matt, happened to be kind of staged in the middle of a conversation going on here and a conversation going here, and Matt was kind of right in the middle, like kind of tennis balling. And I was kind of standing right here watching, and to watch Matt like live in the moment of that scene was one of the highlights for sure. One of the jokes that the actors always said, I don't know if anyone's getting anything out of this. I feel like you and I are just like,
I don't care. I'm loving it. They want meat.
But
they
one of
want
the things-
dirt. I got nothing.
One of the things that the actors gave me a hard time for was that every scene that we shot, I got so excited about, and I wasn't lying, I promise, but I would say, "Oh my God, this is my favorite scene." But then the very next scene, I'd be like, "This is the best scene." So
by the third time he told me, I took him aside and I said, "Listen, I know you're lying."
So I had a lot of favorite moments. There was a moment between Jesse and Bobby where one of the conflicts is that they're really close, and they decided to go to a different school, which is exactly what me and my best friend did. And he'll see the movie tomorrow. I don't know if he realizes how much it's about the two of us. But so when they talked about it, that was one of my crying moments. I have the whole crew behind me, and they do this moment on the rock, and I said, cut, and listen, I'm not embarrassed to say that I'm crying right now, but it was pretty embarrassing in front of a 40-person crew. Like, beautiful sunlight, and I said, cut, and everybody, and I was like, oh, F, I'm...
Started screaming, there was sand inside.
I'm losing
The
it.
wind and the sand got picked up, and it's in my eyes now.
But I actually can tell you very clearly my favorite behind-the-scenes moment. So what Matt said about the order was kind of really smart, because the beach scenes are a little bit more playful and stuff like that, but when we get to the house, it's definitely more intimate. Mm-hmm. And like any classic low-budget independent film, I literally shot that at my dad's house. So when you had said, like, did it bring you back to high school? Like, that was my high school. Like, it was crazy, like, meta crazy. But on the very last day of the movie, all we had to shoot, we would shoot night scenes, and then we'd wait for the sun to come up to shoot a little bit of those. We shot the morning ending over 2 mornings. And so we had a little bit of time. And this is, by the way, I'm silly that I'm giving away my secrets, but this is why you hire great, really smart people. My favorite scene in the movie is them dancing. And Martine, thank you very much. It wasn't my idea. We had 20 minutes. And Martine said, get a stereo out here. And there was kind of a theme song that we all kind of fell in love with.
Oh, God.
And Martine put that song on with him and his brilliant B camera operator, and I just stood there, and these 8 guys danced. And it was the way it worked out, that the schedule, they lived together. I promise you, when you see this movie, that was not 8 actors pretending to dance like their friends. That was 8 people who had bonded, and I sat and I cried like a.
It was the grand finale.
It was just beautiful. We played the one song, and then we played a little faster song, and that I literally, it took a lot of discipline to not make that dancing sequence like 30 minutes long.
Half of our budget was in tissues because he was crying a lot.
There's just a lot of emotions.
We
on
had
set.
multiple beaches we were supposed to shoot on, but they had to cut all of those out so that we could get tissues for him.
They had to call in beach cleanup crew.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a mess. So you guys have touched on this. There's a lot of heart in this story, and there are a lot of stories that people can identify with. There are, people are wondering whether or not they should break up. Long-time friendships are being tested because they're being separated for the first time. Which of these storylines most resonated with each of you?
Oh, that's a good question. I never had a girlfriend in high school, so I never really had to deal with the, not being with her. I definitely had the girl that I always chased after. I would say then the Aiden.
Yeah.
What's her
Serena.
name? Serena. Aiden.
Oh, you're in big trouble.
No, okay, there's 8 of us. All right. You gave me the name Oscar. I don't. No, Aiden and Serena, I think, are kind of, because I definitely, not to the degree of being that into the person, but there was always that one that I always wanted and could never get, and then one time after, even it was out of high school, finally was able to accomplish that, and it really was this moment of holy crap, it's all led to this, and it happened. I don't know. But I also I used to in high school I was so Oscar that it was just that resonates with me because it was that's all you wanted to do. It was just get it in.
For me, it was the 2 best friends. So in the movie, their names are Jesse and Bobby, and Jesse says this thing about it's always been Jesse and Bobby, and they say that they won best couple. And I went to a very big public school, Santa Monica High School, and funny enough, my best friend was Ryan. And oh my God, so if you have the same name and you're best friends, it's Ryan and Ryan. And we were very close, and we did win best couple.
Way to go!
Huh?
Way to go!
Totally. And I wanted to print it, but I happened to have won best eyes, prettiest eyes.
You know it was real because that was in 92 before it was cool to be best couple.
Oh, for sure.
As 2 males.
Yeah.
You really you hit it before it was ever gotten.
Ryan won best smile because he had this ginormous smile, and I won best eyes. And the editor would only let you take one, but this is ridiculous. But and I was like, let's take the best couple. That's hilarious. And we just didn't do that. But so anyway, that storyline was what is happening here? That storyline was really hit home, and then Serena and Aiden was the funnest to write. Just that it's a little bit from a male perspective, but just that dream scenario of having this girl that you've just thought about forever, and then I don't want to give anything away, but it's pretty amazing how it works out.
Yeah.
For him.
And that's another interesting.
I think I might have given it away. I told my story. There's 8 of us. There's multiple stories going on at once, so I think we're good.
Yeah, not to give anything away for the people who haven't seen it yet, because you guys should totally check it out. But there are these kind of issues that are brought up, and there's no easy answer. And at one point, somebody asked their mom, and they're like, "What do I do?" And she's like, "I don't know what to tell you. Mm-hmm. There is no right or wrong answer. You just have to live your life."
All right.
So, it's rare for a movie to say, here's the issue, and then not to have sort of a moral or a particular message shoved, kind of retrofitted in there. Be like, oh, the main character should do this because that's the right thing to do. Because life doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and that's why I think I said that, the thing I like about it is it's so zoned in reality. This is what actually happens, and there's a lot of time there isn't a conclusion to something. Right. It's you make your own decisions, and life goes on, and from that point, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah, the thing I was proud of in how these guys pulled everything off is it doesn't offer solutions, but hopefully you get a little insight as to why they feel that way. So here's Jen, who's the really cool badass, couldn't be bothered, can't wait to get out of here. But in a couple scenes, you get a little insight as to where her why her guard is up. So it doesn't tell her what to do with it, but you do. I hope you get a sense of oh, geez, that's what's going on with her a little bit.
Yeah, and since there's so much self-reflection in this movie, it's not just something that teenagers can identify with, but people kind of reminiscing about their high school days can identify with it as well. I've got my 10-year reunion coming up this weekend, so I'm like watching this movie. I'm like, oh gosh, thinking about the past a lot. And so when kind of looking back at the paths that you guys have taken, at what point did you know for sure storytelling was what you guys wanted to do?
I mean, I knew that from grade 4. I think it started as like an attention thing, you know, just like oh my God, everybody's eyes are on me. Let's keep it this way. But then it was just kind of watching other actors do what they were doing and like feeling so like getting so many feelings from it and stuff. I was like, this is what which was around probably 7th grade. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to make people feel the way that this person is making me feel, because like I get lost, and it's you enter into a different world when you watch a show or you watch a movie, and it's an escape. And you know, with everything that goes on in the world, and you know, a lot of people have stresses and stuff. That's the greatest thing about going to the movies. You kind of completely forget about everything that is a problem in your life for the hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours if you're Martin Scorsese, and you get to like fall into this thing. And so for me, that was, I wanted to tell stories because I wanted people to want to hear the stories and the way that I did. Plus, it's just fun. It's just fun.
Yep, that's very true. So, kind of, how about you? When did you know that storytelling was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, my answer as a director is pretty cliche because I think so many people share this answer, but just as soon as I probably was 5 or 6, and I told my parents, like, I want to make movies. And they said, well, if you want to make movies, you should make something. And I had the biggest, clunkiest camera, and I wrote the worst movie called The Businessman. It literally was, and I made it when I was like 8 years old.
Does it exist?
On some kind of like half-inch tape.
Does
somewhere.
the script exist?
I didn't even write the script. I was like, I got my grandfather to be in it, and I was like, so here's the thing. My dad's best friend was playing this guy who hated his life. There was no nuance or subtlety to this opening scene, like he goes to kill himself. And keep in mind, I'm 8.
You're 8. That's dark material for an 8-year-old.
I had just learned how to use a yo-yo at 8.
And then thank God he decides not to. And then he's driving, and he sees a grandfather and his granddaughter gardening, which in your simple 8-year-old world, that's all it takes. So he has, like, I was literally, Enya music was playing, and like, and you just know from him watching this grandfather and daughter that he's not going to kill himself. And that was the movie. It was terrible.
That's not bad. That's a scene in something. I swear to God, it is.
That is an indie short film, like critical darling. It's
a silent film. It's a silent film. That's I already see it. It's a silent film. It's grainy. I like it. I'm into this.
The Businessman. But so I always knew I wanted to go to film school. I always, for some reason, wanted to go to USC Film School, and then I did something that I thought was smart, which is just kind of knew that I wasn't going to be mature enough to go to film school for undergrad, just because I wanted to have a couple drinks and have a good time. So I see. I mean, the truth is, I teach at a graduate film school, and a lot of my students are great, but a lot of students are not putting the work in that you have to. What we're trying to do is, it's so hard to make it as a director. A lot of times I tell my students it's the same as like a high school shortstop for their team saying, I want to play for the Yankees. You know, your buddies would be like, yeah, right. It's the same odds of making it as a director, you know? So when you're young, you're just thinking about the dream of it. As you get a little older and humbled, you realize, oh man, I really got to work for this, right? So I went to Berkeley, UC Berkeley for undergrad, had a blast, and then went to film school. And even in film school then, I was, 23, 24, I still had a little wild streak in me, and, you know, but then graduated and had a cool film that did great, and then just kind of expected Hollywood to be like, here you go. Here you go, Mr. Schwartz, you're 25. You deserve to make a movie, and that's not how it works. And then you realize,
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice?
Oh.
It did.
So nice.
Yeah, exactly. So it didn't work that way. But you know, this idea of like, do you know if you want to be a filmmaker or not? If you kind of want to, but don't need to, in that 15-year struggle to get a movie made, you're going to take that other job that pays more and does this. And you're like, oh, that was cool. But if it's the only thing you can see yourself doing, it's what you're going to do. And I'm married to my wife, who I love, and I have 2 about to turn 5 twin boys. And I am risking all of our life on this dream, you know, because the truth is I'm 41 years old. There's other things that could have been paying me a lot more, right? And so it's not just my little kid dream. Now I have a wife and 2 kids, and you know, and she's so supportive, but it's the only thing I can see myself doing, you know.
Now, as a teacher, as somebody who teaches people how to make movies, and having had to go through the ups and downs of entertainment, to make it to your first feature, and this applies to you too, Matt, you guys working in entertainment for years, what advice would you like to give to people who are aspiring filmmakers, aspiring storytellers, aspiring actors, in terms of what is the best way to make it to where you want to be?
Right. I'll jump in, man. I'll jump in.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I was giving advice to my students that I wasn't taking. The truth is, when I graduated, independent film existed, of course. I'm not that old. But it wasn't the same. Like, you still felt like you had to convince someone to give you $1 million or $2 million or $4 million to make a movie. And it's hard for anyone to write a check to a first-time filmmaker, regardless of how passionate they are or how great the project is. If I'm going to write a $4 million check, I could get the guy who just won at Sundance and finance his $4 million film. So that's a really hard leap. So the only way to do it, in my opinion, and there's exceptions, but is to write something you believe in and make it. You can do literally. You can do it on your iPhone. You can do it on a 5D. You can do it on a red. You just have to make the work, and that first one may not be great, and that's it. But like this idea of relying on other people to tell you yes, that is a long road. That's what now I can say with clarity. Oh, I know why it took me 15 years to make a movie, because for 14 years I was waiting for someone to say yes. Finally, it took a long time to get my head out of my rear end, but finally that last one, I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm just going to do it, and then that kind of like willing it into being is the thing. But when you do it, you also have to know how to make films too. So that's it. So part of it is the kind of like how to get there. The other part is putting the work in to learn about the craft, and that's a much longer answer. But
Yeah,
I just say, if you're not a kid at a bar mitzvah that runs into Steven Spielberg, it's not going to happen overnight. I feel like he's the only people who it happens overnight are like the kids that Steven Spielberg meets, and then it's like they're off to the races. It's hard.
It is.
There's
yeah.
a million no's before you get a yes.
Yep.
To be able to do something, and so that's why you live in the moment.
that's why you live in the moment. Exactly.
You got to keep at it.
You got to keep at it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about, we've talked a lot about the film. How can people go and watch it? Because we've got a red carpet screening tomorrow.
Which you're going to be at.
Which I'm very excited about.
Awesome.
But how can people who aren't going to be there catch this film?
Cool. So very easily. So tomorrow it opens on 10 markets, which is on our Facebook page.
That's double digits.
10 weeks. Listen, when you make an independent film, you're just hoping to get any distribution.
I'm serious. That's not sarcasm.
Yeah,
that's
and,
double
and
digits.
then so to have any theatrical release, we're so thrilled about. And our distributor, Film Buff, has been great. But the easy way to see it is it's on all VOD platforms tomorrow. So literally tomorrow, you can go to iTunes. I don't even know the name of this. Google, Voodoo, whatever.
iTunes,
Other
Amazon,
ones, yes.
Vimeo?
Crackle. No, maybe not Crackle.
Something like Voodoo.
Vimeo?
Vimeo.
Yeah, Voodoo is a thing. Voodoo.
Is Voodoo a thing?
I would say like Amazon Prime and Apple was
This
like
is the last
place,
time they send me out to do marketing.
is the place to go.
Roku. It's going to be on Roku, yeah.
He hasn't chimed in once. Finally, my man came through. Roku, Fire Stick. Yeah.
Here's what I'm not a social media guy, but what I know is everything is at Summer of 8 movie, and the 8 is a thing. So we have a Facebook page and a Twitter page, and let me see if I can get this right, an Instagram page. I believe we now have a Snapchat. That thing that you were talking about, I don't know what that was. The video
Periscope.
thing.
We don't need a Periscope.
We don't need to Periscope the movie.
They can Periscope while watching the movie live.
Oh,
That's a thing.
is that considered piracy? Unless they're doing a react video,
Can
I
you
guess.
record a Periscope? Oh, it records itself, doesn't it?
I think it depends on...
Don't do that. Don't Periscope the movie live.
Let me answer very simply. It's on all VOD platforms.
Yeah.
But I think there's still a couple tickets left if people want to come down to the Downtown Independent Theater
Coming
tomorrow
out.
night.
Who's all coming tomorrow?
And the entire cast, except for the 2 that are going to be in New York. We're bi-coastal on this premiere.
What's up?
Very cool. And then tons of cast, crew, and friends of the cast, and so
My buddy Brian Craig from General Hospital will be there. If you'd
Boom.
like to, if I've got any of you 35-year-old women out there, he'll be there.
we are pimping out our friends.
Ready,
I have
willing.
a
He's
couple simple
engaged.
friends that
but
are, okay.
You never know. You might,
I'm going to call you for the tip sheet. So
Yeah,
you'll be like,
there you
okay,
go.
who do I need to keep an eye out
I'll
for?
give you the lowdown.
But it's also playing at the Downtown Independent all week, so it's there for like 8 days.
Perfect. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And so, before we get to like final thoughts, do you guys have any upcoming projects that you can talk about? I know when stuff's in development, things are kind of kept under wraps, but are there any upcoming projects that you guys can let our audience know that they should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, well, he doesn't know about this one, but as we were kind of getting ready for this thing, he told me that he and his friends like all live in this like Melrose place.
Yeah.
So the new thing is going to be kind of like an Entourage, but like with him and his buddies.
It's called Valley Boys.
It's going to have a different edge.
Yeah.
So,
No, I have a show on ABC called The Real O'Neills. The second season starts October 11th, Tuesdays at 9:30, which has been very fun. And then I did a small role in the new Power Rangers movie, which comes out in March. So
In the Lionsgate one?
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it is awesome.
Oh,
And
he's not playing.
I'm not playing. It
He
was
doesn't
I
mess
literally
around.
it was 2 days, and all I can say is that, of course, in true Oscar fashion, I'm just kind of helping a cow feel better, and that's about as far as I'll go with that. But yeah, no. So I've got those 2 things coming up. But yeah, definitely check. I know everyone's going to check out Power Rangers, but check out my show, The Real O'Neills.
yeah, it's an awesome show. And just for like kind of for the people who aren't here, the whole cast is doing great. It has nothing to do with they were doing
Carter
great before.
Jenkins has a show coming out on ABC Family called Famous in Love. Shelley Hennig is in
Teen
a
Wolf.
bunch of different things. Bailey Noble has a bunch of different movies come out. She's in Timeless. I think it's called Timeless is coming out. Rachel DePillo's on Chicago Med. Nick Marini just booked a 3-episode arc on Chicago Med. Michael
The
Grant's
cast
in a
is
bunch of
doing
things. It's insane.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
like I said, we got so lucky, and our cast is like it's absurd. It's absurd. They're so good.
Yeah, no, and that's evident. And one of for everybody who hasn't seen it yet, one of the most enjoyable aspects of this film is the chemistry you guys share, and it is remarkable. You don't see films like that very often.
I thank this man for that.
I have
doesn't
good
come
taste in
around.
casting.
Very
It's
good
the
taste.
best thing that I did on the film for sure.
So, final question to sort of round out the interview here. What is the one thing you want people to take away from Summer of 8?
I just want people to feel the nostalgia of it. I want people to remember that this is that pretty much everyone went through this, and to really just kind of soak it in and to get lost in it. That's what I want.
Yeah. The answer I want to give is a bit heavy, but I saw a movie called Fruitvale Station. Ryan Coogler, this guy is amazing. I saw the movie by myself in a theater, which I like to do. And when the credits rolled, it just gutted me. I mean, gutted me. I was literally bawling. And literally before like the ushers kicked me out because I couldn't move, I pulled out my cell phone and I texted my wife. I said, "I love you and the kids more than life itself." And this idea, and by the way, I'm not putting our movie on. It's a different type of thing. But the ability that movies move you to reach out to the people that you love. So for our film, if it just got a high school guy or girl who hadn't seen someone in 5 years to go, "Hey, I miss you. We should get together." That would be awesome. This high school friendship is a really special thing. And these guys, in my opinion, just really captured that. So if it just reminds them of their high school, or they reach out to a high school buddy, that would be awesome.
Yeah, again, all about those small moments.
Yep.
Exactly. Did we do it? Did we do it?
Yeah,
We
did
did basically the whole hour.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, we've been
Time
talking for an hour.
flies.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Did it feel like that? Did it
No,
feel
I
like
can stay
that?
here all day.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Right?
That was cool.
Yeah, no. Watching this movie, it made me think of because they had their special place. Definitely thinking back to that was my special place when I would go and hang out with my friends. So
I love it.
mission accomplished, good
Awesome.
sir.
Victory.
Where can people go if they want to keep up with you guys and your upcoming projects?
Well, for Summer of 8, of course, again, it's that @Summer of 8 movie. So we have a Facebook page and Instagram and Twitter. And I hope they do. Not that I'm here to sell anything, but there's a lot of titles on these VOD platforms.
We are
and
100% here to sell something.
Oh, is that what it is?
We are 100%. We are not here for anything else other than to sell something.
But those titles can get lost unless people support the films. So, and there's some gamesmanship to that, which is that if people, Oh, and by the way, I need to say this. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't. We're doing a really kind of radical thing on you don't even know this, but on iTunes, the movie is only 99 cents for the first 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea being that's our audience. Our audience is high school. We don't want to make it a hindrance to buy it. And we remember what it was like to find quarters in the couch and be like, "Oh yes, we can go get a burrito today." So
A burrito.
that was my college. I don't know about
That
you.
was for sure what you did.
So for 99 cents, I think to buy it is like $5 or $6, whatever. But to rent it is 99 cents for only
great.
2 weeks. So hopefully people can go check it out for $1. If they hate it, they could turn it off.
How about you, Matt?
What?
Something about how do we keep track of you?
Keep track. I got lost in his eyes for a second.
He was voted best eyes.
Yeah, for a good reason.
Is there a close-up on that?
Zoom in. You can on Instagram. I'm just at Matt Shively. Twitter. I'm at Matt Shively1. Snapchat Matt Shively. Periscope. Don't have it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna.
Don't have a public Facebook. Yeah, that's about it. Tumblr. I don't have.
I think we have a Tumblr.
MySpace. Just Matthew J Shively.
You don't have MySpace,
If you no, but if you add me as a friend in the next 10 minutes, I'll throw you on my top 20. So.
Before that was left up to an algorithm, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I get to pick it now. Justin Timberlake bought the company and really changed a bunch of stuff. So I mean,
Isn't it more about music now?
I don't even.
know.
Is it still there?
I don't know.
Is there?
I've never.
If it is, there are
looked.
pictures of me when I was like 15 years old,
Pretty
jumping
sure.
off waterfalls and stuff that I would really like. Throwback Thursdays today, so if MySpace could
Yeah.
send me those.
So
yeah, I don't
before you
think I've
sign us
looked.
off, just want to thank you guys for taking a look at the film
Yeah.
and having us here.
Absolutely.
This is how little movies get discovered, so we really appreciate it.
Well, it was my pleasure. First of all, getting to see this film was fantastic. Getting to talk to you guys today, absolutely wonderful. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to sit and chat with us, because this was so much
Anytime.
fun.
So much fun.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you.
Before we go, I just wanted to say thank you to all the folks who tuned into the live chat. If you guys liked what you saw here, please go to iTunes, rate and subscribe for iTalk Movies. Leave a comment. We love hearing from you, and it's a good way to let our producers know that you like the show that we're putting on. I've been your host, Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I am also on a bunch of shows at our sister network, AfterBuzz TV. I've got 2 back-to-back after this tonight, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I also write articles for The Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. Again, cannot say thank
Don't
you.
you do?
Yeah, that was impressive.
You just literally made me feel so small. I'm like, I'm not doing enough with my life. Thank you.
You're an actor, though. That is something I could
Yeah, and
never
I'm
do.
gonna act happy right now. Thanks a lot.
Well, again, cannot say thank you enough to you guys for coming down. Can't wait to see the movie again tomorrow. It's going to be a blast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you all next time.
Thank you.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.